slavery left a deep wound in all of us. And when you see us coming, it's because we're trying to heal that wound that was placed.
I try to understand why I am here. I want to leave. And you are coming back. You want to stay.
You want to go out. You want to take your kids to the park to play. But when you do, other kids spit at them.
Their presence is actually creating a problem for us economically.
I remember I used to go on my phone and try to find like an app to look at, to listen to radio stations in Accra, just to hear the language. And I remember one night I was just sitting there and like, I almost just cried.
Hey guys, thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Lillian, and if you're my returning viewer, thank you for coming back. Please don't forget to like this video. I know you may have seen this video already, but the reason I'm doing it is to give my own contribution, to add one or two things to the video. I mean, this is a very important video because this is where we get to hear from the two cultures, I'll call it. Yeah, the African Americans moving to Ghana and the Ghanaians living in Ghana. So what do they think about each other? How are they cohabiting? What is going on with them? Are they okay? Because we don't do the follow-ups. We are doing, oh wow, we have our brothers, African Americans, move to Ghana. Some of us are very passionate about these videos, about this news. We love it. I like it personally because I just love the fact that we can reconnect. After being taken away for years, you make your way back home. I love it. But the thing we don't talk about is the struggle that we both face. I wouldn't say we. I am not Ghanaian, so I would say the struggle that these two cultures do face living together in Ghana as one. Now, we are not talking about the color. Now, we are talking about the cultures. So this video is just perfect. I would like us to take a look together and I'll give my own opinion. Are you ready? If you are, smash the like button as we dive into it.
Hello and welcome back to the 77% Street Debate. This week we are back in Ghana's capital of Accra. Now, 400 years ago, the first women, men, and children forcibly stolen from this continent arrived on the other side of the Atlantic in America. Fast forward many years later, and the government, the modern government of Ghana, is saying to its international descendants, come back home. But what does that integration look like? Began in 2019, dubbed the Year of Return, this initiative has introduced many people from across the world back into the community. And how is that affecting the makeup of this society? Who better to answer that question than some now all Ghanaians? And I want to start with you, Professor Kambon, because I think in order to understand where we are, we must look back in time. How did we end up in this situation where Africans were disjointed and disconnected from their land?
I have what I call the thousands, hundreds, and tens model. And what that is that thousands of years ago, Black people went out to populate the entire planet Earth. And then hundreds of years ago, Black people were enslaved. This goes back all the way to the Arabs, you know, the Indian Ocean and so forth. You had the Zand Rebellion. And then tens of years ago, you have what is often referred to as the brain drain, where, you know, those are going out to seek greener pastures. And usually it's because their own homes have been set on fire by, you know, IMF, World Bank policies and so forth and so on. Many of us came to the conclusion of why do we continue to build the land of our enemies? Before we were doing it, you know, at gunpoint, you know, at the point of the whip and so forth. But there's a proverb that says a cow grazes where it is tied. But if we're not cows, then it means we don't have to continue grazing in places when, you know, we are no longer tied there. So for some of us, we decided to repatriate. So for me, I have repatriated to Ghana, and several of my repatriate to Ghana clients have gotten citizenship.
All right, let's talk about your repatriation for a little bit. 2008 is when you decided to move back to Ghana. What inspired this? Specifically
in 2008, I went through what a lot of Black people go through, which is a trumped up charge, racism and so forth. They don't ask you, are you a, you know, citizen who's benefiting the community and so forth. They just say, all right, because you're Black, or really it's because they're white, right, that they behave in that way. So I decided that I was coming here to do my PhD. I did so. I'm doing pretty well. I've been installed as a traditional ruler. So this was given to me by the Nsumankwa Hene, the overall spiritual head of all of the Asante people. It's about being accepted. It's about being respected.
Union, a lifelong union with Ghana. You got your citizenship yesterday. And there's something that the professor said here, to be removed from the land of your enemy. Is this how you considered America, where you actually grew up?
We moved for our safety and our children's safety. It is unsafe in the States, no matter where you go, if you look like us. Getting out of the land of our enemy was priority number one, to make sure that no matter what we did to build a business or to simply just live the simple life, we will be protected in that.
Nakia, is this also what you think, land of the enemy? Is this what Baltimore was to you?
For example, in Baltimore, we have the highest, like a very strong crime rate in my city. And I think that is due to the fact that people are completely lost. And so all of that anger and aggression gets pushed out onto the streets, and then we're suffering. For me, even I think back when I was in school, and doing university, I remember I used to go on my phone and try to find like an app to look at, to listen to radio stations in Accra, just to hear the language. And I remember one night I was just sitting there and like, I almost just cried. Just to not like to know that like this was taken from me.
You're
like,
shaking now as you have goosebumps everywhere actually.
Because my great grandmothers, these are the songs that they would sing. These are the language that they would use, and we don't have them anymore. And it's even hard to explain like how that stealing of our identity impacts our hearts. And so when you see us celebrating and when you see us happy to be in Ghana, even though we know the conditions aren't great here, the economy is not great, but slavery left a deep wound in all of us. It left a deep wound. And when you see us coming, it's because we're trying to heal that wound that was placed.
Okay. Thank you so much for being so honest and vulnerable with us. I appreciate that. Let me speak to Mr. Kwesi here, who is the CEO of the Tourism Board, which is behind this initiative. There's a lot of pain and trauma and fear that a lot of people are escaping coming into this country. But was this your idea when you launched this initiative?
Yes and no. Yes, we knew that we had to make the connection because we've been separated for far too long and we didn't understand each other. And so, yes, the idea was, let's reconnect, let's bring us together and see how we can work together, cultural exchanges, tourism, investments, and everything that makes us one people.
Okay.
But no, because we realize that it goes deeper than just a reconnection. It also for people to come and heal. Really, people trace their roots, come back to where it all began.
Okay, so you were told come back to Africa. Here you are. I want to now know, what have your experiences been? The reality versus what you might have expected.
I think where Africa beats America in development is social development, in terms of how people are raised in here and having respect for your elders. I struggled a lot with my mother. My mother passed about 2 years ago. I actually was taking care of her for 5 years by myself, because I couldn't get my family to understand that we as a family should take care of my mother together. But here in Ghana, you don't have that problem. You don't even really see nursing homes, because the people understand that when your parents get older, you should take care of them. And so these are the things that I feel like that are really important for us to really focus on and see that there's a lot that the Ghanaian heart has to offer, and that we also should take hold of and to integrate and understand our place in the society.
So Adam and Chireta, you're raising two beautiful children here. How has that experience been for you, and what are some of the challenges of integrating so far?
Oh, it's really been beautiful, you know, in the state.
Anyway, before we continue, I just want to contribute quickly to what this lady said about how we treat the elderlies in our community, in our family. How do we treat them? How do we care for them? And she made a very good point. Yeah, I think the way we are raised in Africa, they raise us to not be selfish, even with the fact that we are being sometimes physically assaulted. I would say these days they will say brutalized, you're abusing the child or this and that, you shouldn't beat a child. But if we want to be honest, the way our mothers raised us in Africa, if you want to look at it critically, it's just the best way to go. Because I mean, they put us through all this stress of, oh, they beat us, they make us to labor, which the Western cultures will say child labor. But we go through all those things and still end up caring and never forgetting our families. Don't you think it's just amazing? She made a point and I just couldn't let that slide. Before we go back into the video, I hope you've watched Professor's interview on my channel, him and his family. If you have not, I'm going to link the video here so that you can catch up with it when you are done with this one. Now let's go back to the video.
We lived a very isolated lifestyle because of safety. You know, you want to go out, you want to take your kids to the park to play, but when you do, other kids spit at them. That is an experience that my son had at the playground. on more than one occasion. And so we lived a very isolated life. So to be here and to be free and to see my kids be able to be joyful and that not be a crime has been a very, very beautiful thing.
Beautiful this is sounding, and I'm just going to throw a little bit of pepe in here. Kojo, tell me, are the people who've returned romanticizing the idea of Africa a little bit?
Maybe a little bit.
Tell me about that.
Well, the truth is, we are survivors here in Ghana. And the reason why it may look like it's like we want to switch places with them is because of that doggedness that the country has built inside of us. You've gone through the educational system. You've put together yourself to be on top of society, but then there's no opportunity for you to use them and put yourself in a better place in the society.
So I want to know from the people at the back, anybody, if you got a chance, are you taking the plane to get out of Ghana? Let me see by show of hands if your answer is yes. When you hear these people come and say, hey, this is a beautiful country, we need to reinvest back on the continent, how does that make you feel?
I feel it's because they have money, that's why they are coming back home. But for me, I want to leave the country because the economy here is very bad.
Okay. Let me hear one more person at the back.
I would love to leave the country. Like, just as they are saying, when they were coming, they came with money, which is making their life comfortable. But we in the country, people are struggling on the street. If such person get opportunity, in fact, the person will leave the country.
Mm-hmm. Prof, what do you make of it when you hear that the local population here already has an assumption that you're wealthier, that there's an income disparity inbuilt?
So about 3 weeks ago, I gave a presentation on how you can earn $250,000 and 10x your income by living in Ghana. And a case study is I had translators coming from the University of Ghana at a conference that I just had. And we hired them to teach P. They had 2 students. From the 2 students who were paying them, they were able to get enough money to pay their entire master's degree for 1 year. Generally, people think, oh, what can I do at this language? But I'm saying that you don't have to go outside. And that was a message that they learned. There's someone in the world who wants any skill that you know how to do, and they're willing to pay you richly to do it.
Let me ask Jeff what he thinks here, because he is swallowing hard. I don't know if you think this is great advice or if you see it as somewhat condescending. What are your views?
Yes, I think what Prof is saying is quite true. Now, I heard my sister from behind me say that these people have money coming in. Yes, they may think that what they have is not enough for them as they come in here. But from the ordinary person on the streets of Accra, let's say Oxford Street, you see, if I want to walk on Oxford Street and buy what Prof is wearing, I can walk there and buy it. But can you imagine getting to Oxford Street and there's a vendor selling this thing, Prof standing there? The moment the person realizes Prof is coming from outside, his donation, the person prices this thing very high. So it brings a certain gap. But at the end of the day, once the prices go up, it doesn't come down. And we are the ones who suffer eventually. And that is a problem we are facing here today. Their presence is actually creating a problem for us economically.
But I want to come back to you, Mr. Kwesi, because obviously these emotional sentiments have the potential to become something else. Xenophobia, Afrophobia. Are you just telling people come in, or are you putting in place strategies so that integration is sustainable and seamless?
Do you know why I'm laughing? It's what the prof said. This is giving me that motivational speaker vibes, you know. See, now they needed translators and then they got 2. I mean, how many more translators do they need? Prof, please tell us so that we can come and apply. Even me, I will go and learn Chui and come and apply. Anyway, that is his own opinion and his own observation and his own advice that you can make it here in Ghana. And for those who don't believe they can make it in Ghana, I cannot blame them. It's not that easy. It's not simple. That is why my heart usually breaks when people tell me, oh, start saving money. Saving money from which money? I'm surviving. As an African in Africa, I am surviving. I am surviving. The little that I get is just only enough for me to eat food and be alive. Only for me to pay school fees for my children. only for me to cater for their head care. I do not have the luxury of spending my money on other things. So where is this money that I have to start investing? Where is it? Where should I go and steal? I understand. Another hilarious part in this video is the Ghanaian lady that said it's because they have money. She's not lying. This is why when I see people like demonize everything about the Western idea, the Western this, I used to laugh, because to me, see, if you like, let us demonize the Western countries and whatever. A lot of things have been put in place for a regular person to make it, at least to be able to feed yourself. But here in Africa, it's not like that. I'm sitting here today and I'm thankful to God Almighty for this platform that He has given to me, created by the West. And I took advantage of it, and you guys have been here for me. Through this platform, you get to know me. For those of you that used to reach out to me from time to time to send me something, to support me, it's through this platform. Otherwise, you wouldn't have seen me, you wouldn't have known about me. And I will keep saying that all of us want to move. Life in Africa is not easy for a regular African like me, like us. It's not easy for Ghanaians out there. And my heart breaks sometimes when I go out there under the sun, under the rain. I see youth queuing up, trying to get a bus to go to work, and when you know how much they are earning, your heart will break, and then you begin to thank God for yourself. I'll begin to thank God. Thank you, Jesus. I get a chance to take care of my physically challenged daughter. I get a chance to be around my kids and still earn something little from what I'm doing. But now, if I want to add other things to what I'm doing, how do I do it? My God, it's crazy. Anyway, this is a beautiful video. I'm going to leave their link in the description of the video, so if you want to see the whole video, you can go to their channel and see it. And as for the other guy that feels like the presence of African Americans in Ghana is a threat to the economy, I totally understand him, but it's not their fault. Neither is it our fault. It's not their fault. It is our people's fault. You know, how do you charge people higher just because they speak in a different tune? Sell your thing for the price you're selling it for, and stop trying to make more than you're supposed to make from people just because you think they have money. And this is why I love the idea of a supermarket. You walk to ShopRite, they wouldn't ask you, are you from Ghana? Are you a Nigerian? Or are you African? Are you not? The price is there, you pick it and go. So if we all discipline ourselves and just know that we are not supposed to forcefully take money from people just because we think they have it, then we are going to cohabit peacefully. It's a fun video. I love it and very educative. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in my next one. Don't forget to check the link in the description to catch up with the full video. Bye.